I got to kiss a girl in that one. So,
Oh yeah, that was you're the romantic lead in that one. I forgot.
yeah. Well, what else would I be, right?
Welcome, friends and fans, to another edition of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today, we are looking for whatever truth is left out there with the Lone Gunmen. So without further ado, let's bring him up. Our first guest is an actor whose credits include MacGyver, The Outer Limits, and Batwoman. Today, he joins us to discuss the role of the most conservatively dressed of the Lone Gunmen, John Fitzgerald Byers. Please welcome back Bruce Harwood.
Hey, I'll applaud myself because I can't hear it.
Hey, trust me, they are. So, Bruce, how are you?
I'm all right, Hank. Thank you very much.
So glad to have you back here. Everything's been good in your corner of the world.
Hey, I mean, I'm still here. I'm alive. You know, this is the picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doing all right.
Mm-hmm. I believe you said you're getting a haircut tomorrow, so that'll change.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it.
Absolutely, indeed. Bruce, glad to have you back. Glad to see you in good health and good spirit.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And next, he is an actor and comedian whose credits include RoboCop, Alpha Commando, and Bones. Today, he joins us to discuss the role of the digital ghost that was once Richard Ringo Langley. Please welcome back Dane Haglund.
Hooray! Hey!
Ah!
Please stop the applause. I can always hear it in my head.
So, Dean, how are you?
Oh, I lost your audio.
Oops.
Sorry, Pat. Yeah. Bruce, are you talking?
Not. Can you hear me?
Shoot. I'm audio out.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? How's that? How's that? Check, testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeti pull, hold.
Uh-oh. Oh, dear. I'll tell you what, producer Paul, why don't you kick him out and let him come back on in? That usually reboots it sometimes. All right, we'll give him a second. In the meantime, let's break out. He is an actor and director whose body work includes Amazon Falls, 21 Jump Street, and Da Vinci's Inquest. Today, he joins us to discuss the role of hacker and tango dance competitor Melvin Frohike. Please welcome back Tom Braidwood.
Greetings to all.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. Thank you.
Oh, good. And you can hear us and see us, and we can do the same with you likewise.
You are loud and clear.
Absolutely. How are things in your corner of the world?
They're good. We got a little rain, but all in all, it's been a beautiful summer.
All right. Well, amen to that. I'll take a good summer any day. So absolutely. All right. Well, wait for our Lost Slam. In the meantime, I'll throw this out. Well, first of all, welcome back. And it's glad to have you back here at the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Our team's going through our chat room right now, pulling out the questions for you. In the meantime, I like to throw this out. Last time we chatted, we talked about how you all fell in the show and everything else. But let me just throw this for each of you. What was the craziest day that you can recall, either on the X-Files set or on the Gunman set?
Yeesh.
Craziest day. I think for me, the craziest day we were out in the swamps in Richmond or someplace, and it was night. It was 2 a.m, and the three of us are supposed to come, I don't know, walking out of the dark because we've survived some Holocaust, and we're standing out there. It's very cold and wet, and the crew is about a mile away on long lenses and that kind of thing, and we noticed nothing seems to be going on. We're just standing there, and suddenly we realized they're all just like walking around drinking coffee and eating, and nobody's paying attention to us standing out there. It was very strange. Finally, we had to say something. We finally said, maybe we could get on with it here or make the movie or do what we're supposed to do. That was a weird one.
That was one of the coldest nights.
What?
Too.
Oh, why are you guys still out there? Come on in.
Yeah, that was one of the. We were too far away to call in, so they just left it there. I mean, why do all that just to reset?
Yeah. That was all.
That was the coldest night of our shoot too, as I remember.
Yeah,
because I was shivering like mad, doing it deliberately to keep myself warm. And people around me were freaking out because they thought I was going to die of hypothermia or something like that. Like, oh my God, get Bruce a coat or something. I was saying, I'm fine. shiver, shiver, shiver. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Theoretically, that would have been your craziest day you can recall, or do you have another one?
I mean, they all sort of there's like, I remember that we were shooting out I can't remember where we were shooting, but I remember they had rain on us, and I had to stand in this pouring rain, and this old lady had to come up and slap me in the face repeatedly. So I remember that, and we had to reshoot it because we couldn't get a reverse angle on it. So I had to do it 2 different days in a row, get pelted with rain and slapped by a nice little old lady who was horrified. She'd come up in character and wallop me on the side of the head. And then as soon as they yelled cut, she was like, "Are you okay, my dear? Are you okay? I'm so sorry." Action, slap. "Oh, my dear, are you okay now?" You know,
I think
she nailed me in exactly the same spot every time too.
Yeah.
Wow, she was a pro.
Yeah, real pro.
One for me, when we were shooting the scene where we were trapped in the whatever it was, and we're going to die, and Jimmy's on the other side looking through the glass, and we started working the scene, and suddenly Bruce and I look at each other and go, "He's actually crying. He's got tears in his eyes."
What, had we given up at that point? We were just like, whatever, we're dead. Who cares?
Come on, get on with it.
Yeah.
Jimmy, it's just a movie. It's just a movie. It's okay.
Yeah, easy for you to say. With all the plots and the wackiness and everything else, was there ever a moment you looked at any of the scripts and you just couldn't wrap your head around what's going on here? Can somebody just explain this to me?
Well, in The Gunmen, I remember getting the script about the monkey with the brain of a human being in him or whatever it was. And and just going like, "Oh, what? Really? Okay. All right." It wasn't so much I couldn't wrap my brain around it. I was more along the lines of, "Oh, are we doing this? I guess we are. Okay. What's that going to be like?" Yeah. And then we got to work with it.
There.
So,
hey,
welcome back.
Look at that.
We're done. So we'll see you later.
Apologize.
Okay, thank you for joining us, everybody. Greatest show ever on Galaxy Con. Oh, Dean, hi.
I don't. I just.
Okay.
Well, that's
a fan made this for me at the last con because my PayPal credit card reader wasn't working in the hotel Wi-Fi, so he thought I was an idiot. In fact, it was the Wi-Fi in the hotel, and so I thought I'd wear it for this, and now it really came in handy, didn't it?
Yeah,
looked like an idiot.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, hey, Dean, 2 questions on the table. First one: what was the craziest day you can recall on the set of either X-Files or The Gunmen?
The craziest day.
Craziest day for you.
Remember the last day of Gillian Anderson, Bruce? We had to go to the C-Bus terminal to do a CBC interview at dawn. Remember the sun was coming up and we had to talk to Ralph Ben Murphy.
Yeah. Was that, you mean in Vancouver, her last day in Vancouver, right?
Her last day in Vancouver, yeah. Yeah. And so then we did that interview like early, and then had to get out to that hospital in Coquitlam, right? That they film everywhere.
Yeah.
All the time. And then we sat there till all hours of the night, and the sound guy just bought a highfalutin Plymouth hot rod, the 10-cylinder crazy car that he had personally manufactured. He was doing well. That sound. Yeah.
Well, he's like most film crew; they just spend all their money in between times.
No. And then he gave me the keys, and me and David's assistant, I forget what that guy's name. We went out at like 2:30 in the morning.
Right.
Just opened that thing up with the top down.
I must have been asleep. I missed that.
Yeah, I think you were sleeping in your trailer.
Yeah.
Because it was already now 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then Jillian gave everybody bathrobes. Do you remember? That was her parting gift.
Yeah.
Was bathrobes for everyone. Burgundy bathrobes. And then she gave everyone a hug, and that was a wrap on Jillian forever.
Yeah, I remember us all in our PJs, the characters in our PJs, and you came out. We both came out of the bathroom, and you were brushing your teeth. And
that was that episode, wasn't it? Yeah.
That amused the crew a great deal for some reason.
Yeah. So basically, it started first thing with the sun up, doing live interview from out in a parking lot by a bus station, ending with me driving a V10 at 300 miles an hour. And then getting a bathrobe. So that's pretty crazy. That's a crazy day.
Yeah, that's very good, very good. And it's funny, last time we talked last year, we had Jillian the next day. I asked her, well, the Lone Gunmen guys were raving about the bathrobes. She was like, oh yeah, I try to think of something practical, and somebody said, how about bathrobes? I said, sure, why not? That works.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I think my sister has it now. She kept it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Dean, I remember us giving an interview. This must have been when we were doing that little publicity tour for the Unusual Suspects episode in Ontario. Weren't we interviewing a guy who claimed that we were standing amongst all these helicopters, and he was claiming that the Windsor family had murdered Mother Teresa.
Yeah,
or something like
in
that,
retaliation.
Yeah,
it's the Habsburgs and the Windsors.
Yeah,
that is a long-going dispute, right?
Right.
The Habsburgs perpetrated a murder on Lady Diana, proof being that a moped the top speed of a moped is 35 miles an hour, and the crash velocity of the Mercedes in the tunnel was some 110 miles an hour. So how did a 35 mile an hour moped keep up to 110 mile an hour Mercedes?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That was good. And then a couple weeks later, Mother Teresa died at the age of 99 or whatever she was. That was murder. And it was ultimately to take away the focus of one funeral from the other funeral. And we
were properly amazed by this story.
Yeah. This guy, and he was in a suit, and I don't know if he said he owned that helicopter or those helicopters. That was his hangar. So I never read. He never showed up at another convention. I never saw that guy again.
Yeah,
I can't even remember his name, frankly.
It's always the ones that it's always the ones that look totally normal and respectable, and then they start talking that stuff. That's what always throws you off.
That's right.
The ones with the tinfoil on the hat, you can see them coming, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna, hey, hi, how are you? That's great.
Right.
It's the ones that pass for normal, and then it's like,
what? Yeah. Tom was supposed to be on that tour, but he couldn't make it. So instead, they made us a picture of Tom with a little string that made his mouth talk on a stick. And then we did interviews. We did the Deanie Petty show. I think I came out with it. And I'm like, hi, I'm Tom Redwood. Oh, it's good to be here.
Yeah. I was trying to remember who that was. I was just thinking about that.
Deanie Petty. Well, you know what's weird? She gave us a gift. And I just pulled out my old Artist Way. This is signed by Deanie Petty, for crying out loud.
Wow.
She gave us the Artist Way book as a gift. How sweet is she?
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, and the other question that's on the table right now, we've heard from Bruce on this. Was there ever a time, either on X-Files or Gunmen, where you were going through a brand new script and there was just something that you just couldn't quite wrap your head around, and you had to ask, could somebody explain this to me? Because I'm not seeing it.
Well, a lot of the technical stuff was always tricky, wasn't it? I mean, I would ask like Frank and Vince Gilligan all the time, what are we talking about? And in fact, they would actually go interview guys from the 2600. Remember that little? It was a little, printed magazine.
Yeah. It was like a leaflet magazine, but it was hardcore internet.
How to hack. And it was the early stuff. Like you could use the little whistle that came in the Captain Crunch, and you could whistle into the phone certain tones and get free international calls. So the guy who...
The good times, eh?
The good times. So I had a friend who was a designer at Apple. And basically, his contribution is that each one of your icons is the size of your fingerprint. That was his idea at a meeting. And so he now makes hundreds of thousands of dollars every year for that idea. But in college, he had a table that was basically a switching router, and everybody from all the dorms would come and make international calls for free because he had somehow hacked a pre-phone system and built it into his coffee table in his dorm, and then had everybody come over and make free calls. So,
wow.
Yeah, I know. So because Vince and Frank were doing the research on that, they knew these guys personally, and they said, "Do you want to meet these guys?" And that's how I met, Jordan Maxwell, Dr. Roger Lear, who removed 21 alien implants in his lifetime, Nick Pope, Dr. all of these
Yeah.
big UFO and conspiracy guys.
Back in the days when you could put out a newsletter about this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, like the Gunmen. The Lone Gunmen was a newspaper that we did, apparently. Like, oh, dear. We were going to change the world with that info?
One corner at a time.
Yeah. See,
and there's a crossword at the back. Who did that?
Decide that one. Big Arthur boy, beginning with B. Oh, Bigfoot. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Exactly. Oh, I thought it was Belarus.
And Tom, was there ever any point that a script may have confounded you?
Yes, yeah. There was when I was 8. This is when I was 18, and we got the script where at the end Frohike gets killed in the script. He gets shot.
Oh, right.
And so I went, and I'm doing the show, so I'm prepping the script, and I hit this, and I go, oh. Okay. And I went into Chris Carter's office and I said, Chris, what's going on here? Like, they killed me in the script. He said, oh, well, if it's in the script, it's in the script. I mean, I said, but I'm one of the good guys. I mean, I don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think I realized afterwards he hadn't read the script yet. He didn't know that that's what was going to happen, and but that confounded me for a few minutes.
Yeah,
I picture Tom. I picture you closing the door quietly as you come in and going like, "Hey, Chris, we need to talk about this stuff."
Is there something I can ask you, Chris? Just a little question.
Something I said? What is it?
Yeah, really.
Did I miss a birthday? What did I do?
Like when you realize
I heard, Tom, I don't know. Do you remember this? That they actually filmed a sequence where your head explodes.
Well, I heard that too. I don't know if they did.
And one of the editors down in LA kept that footage somewhere. She has it. Yeah.
Oh.
Somewhere. I know.
His moment of zen or something?
Do they have a fake head and then just make a...
Yeah. It was a fake head with an explosive in there. And it was in like crosshairs. And apparently Smokey Man had the gun, right? And the version is he puts the gun down and says something like, I'll let you live this time or something. But there's another version where your head explodes in the crosshairs.
The little David Cronenberg thing, I see.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember reading that first draft and getting to your death at the end, and just my stomach dropped out because I was like, well, if he's dead, I don't have very long to live.
One by one, it all popped off.
Yeah.
Hell with him. What about me?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you obviously Christmas the Red. I said no. We'll change that. Okay, that's what he was talking about. Oh, he really dies. Oh no, not yet. We'll do it. We'll give him a show, then we'll do it. We'll invest in a show, then we'll do it. So, hey, we're good to go to audience questions. So I say let's go ahead and fire that one up. And our first one comes from Christina, who wants to know. I will rephrase this. Have you found yourself in possession of anything from the set?
Actually, I have my from the Lone Gunmen, the Tango episode. I still have those dance shoes that I wore. Yeah,
you're kidding.
Yeah, I had them resold because I wasn't going to go dancing, and they're tucked under my bed somewhere or something.
Wow, were they nice shoes?
I like two-tone shoes. But, yeah, so I like these.
I have 3 tubs of X-Files paraphernalia, coats and sweaters and sweatshirts, and I've still got I've got you've probably got them too. Our little things on the back of the chairs with our names.
The back of the director chairs with.
Oh nice.
And mine's signed by everyone.
Right.
Yeah. And in fact, David
might be too. I haven't looked at it.
David Duchovny wrote on my chair back, goes, "I'm so sorry we didn't have a sex scene together." and then
I'm not.
Yeah, and then he goes to me. This is the final day, and he goes, "Hey, did you read what I wrote on your thing?" Like totally deadpan, right? I go, "No, what'd you write?" Goes, "Read it." So I'm sorry we didn't have a sex scene together. Goes, "Yeah." Like, that's pretty funny because no, I'm serious. Just deadpan the whole thing. Like, oh my god, it was the funniest thing ever.
He didn't get a hold of you for Californication, so I don't think he was
No, right?
serious.
So really, he was kidding.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have things. Yeah.
Yeah, I kept the original Ramones T-shirt from the
nice
first episode.
Great. Yeah,
because that was from a rare 1985 European tour. And of course, in the 80s in Europe, new wave, nobody was listening to, long-haired grunge American garage band rock. Yeah. So that tour was massively underattended. Yeah. And so there was a plethora of these T-shirts. And I talked to the T-shirt designer. He said, yeah, that was our worst selling T-shirt. And when they came back from Europe, they had boxes of it. They dumped in my apartment in New York. I had no room for it. So he threw out some like 30,000 Ramones T-shirts that were the Mondo Bizarro tour. So it's super hard to find that shirt. So somehow the wardrobe department on that first season went to, Salvation Army or something, found a Mondo Bizarro Ramones shirt. And, the Ramones, that was the thing, right? So they got a phone call from legal at Fox going, yeah, there's a character wants to wear a Ramones T-shirt. We need clearance from you, the band. And the band says, hold on, we want to watch this show first. And they watched the first couple episodes. They said, absolutely, he can wear the shirt. We love this show. So much so that they would play on Friday night at CBGB's in Manhattan. They would go on at 7, first act, so that they could get home by 8 to watch the show. They couldn't get crap. Like, hey, man, you guys could headline. No, screw it, man. We're going on first. And they would just like whip through a set, and then they'd all go home and sit together at Joey's apartment and then watch the X-Files. And I know this because I was invited to a cancer benefit for lymphoma, which Joey died from. It was a posthumous birthday party. Yeah. And so Mickey and Johnny were still alive. Joey's mother was alive. The financial manager was there. I met them all. And they said that as Joey lay dying, all he did was watch Lone Gunmen episodes of the X-Files and the spinoff. And he just watched it repeatedly until the very end. And Mickey said, and we left his apartment in the Lower East Side exactly as is. And if you're ever in Manhattan, you could stay there for free. And I never took him up on it. I know. It was just too mind-blowing. Staying in Joey's bedroom. What are you, crazy? Would I just lose my head? So I know. So the Ramones and the Gunmen have a very close relationship.
That is really cool. Awesome. Christina, great question to start us off with. Thank you for that. Hey, what do we have next? Here's one from EAP. Which episode of either X-Files or Lone Gunmen was your personal favorite?
Favorite?
I still like Unusual Suspects best of all.
I like it because we hung out together so much in David's trailer playing video games.
And I got to kiss a girl, so that was good too.
Which one?
I got to kiss a girl in that one. So.
Oh yeah, that was you're the romantic lead in that one. I forgot.
Yeah. Well, what else would I be, right?
Yeah, Unusual Suspects, and that was the first show that was like all the gunmen. It was the backstory, and it was sort of like, oh, hey, you guys carry this series. David is shooting his thing. Jillian's in London doing something. So yeah, you guys, hey, this hit show season 5. Why don't you guys take that over for an episode?
Good show. Yeah, it's one of my favorites too, for sure. It was a good one.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, there you go. Across the board. There you go, AP. Yeah, unanimous decision. And from Lisa, notice number one Trek fan. She comes to all of our most of our events here. What has been your most shadowy X-Files like encounter you've had in real life?
Well, there's so many.
Yeah, besides the helicopter guy.
The helicopter guy is common. Yeah. Bruce, you remember that woman in Minneapolis?
This was in Minneapolis. We were signing. Frank Spotnitz was there. Was Chris there as well?
I think he was actually. So it's you, me, Chris, and Frank, and one other guest. I can't remember who. So it's 5 of us.
This woman came up to me and she had a picture book, a photo book slammed it down in front of me and said, my husband was in the FBI. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you must appreciate this show on that level. And she goes, here's a picture of him after he was shot. Flip the page over. And here's the man they say is my husband. And he looks completely different. Would you sign this, please? And then swept up the book and just walked off. And I was standing there like, did I just dream that? And I looked down the table and Frank was looking at me and going, did you just see that? Because she showed me a picture. She said it was her husband and then this guy. And we were all like, what was that experience?
Oh, so you didn't ask her more questions?
Well, I did questions like, oh my God, that's horrible. I'm so sorry. Good luck to you. Like I didn't follow up on like.
Oh, no, I followed up.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So that first picture, it's a guy who's about 300 pounds and 6'7", and she's beside him.
Wasn't there like blood all over? She showed me a picture of a guy with actual blood on him or something like that.
That's the guy in the bed, in the hospital bed, right?
Right. Okay.
You didn't see the two of them in the backyard, just kind of like a loving couple?
There were so many pictures in that book. I don't think I really focused on anything. It all looks weird, is all I can say.
There was one where
weird ones.
Yeah. There was one where they are both like a happy couple just taking a picture in their backyard.
Yeah.
And he's tall, 300 pounds, and she says he's an FBI agent, and he went on assignment in California. And then they said he got into a horrible accident, and he's in a coma, and she flew out, and then she took a picture of the guy in a coma, and it's a skinny, older guy, not the same guy, looks completely different, but he's got hoses and everything in him. But, but it's like, well, that's not the same guy. She goes, exactly. So go, well, where's this guy? I don't know. She goes, well, did you check this guy? Yeah. Everything says his fingerprints, his dental records, everything says that's my husband. I've never seen that guy before in this hospital bed. And then I go, well, so how? So did you go to the police? She goes, yeah, I went to the police and they said his dental records, his fingerprints, everything is my husband. But you could see these two pictures are different. I showed the police these two pictures. And I go, so, well, why are you telling us? And she goes, well, where else can I go? And I'm like, you can't go to the FBI, can't go to the police, can't go. So I'm going to the guys who write the X-Files and are in the X-Files because this is the weirdest thing. And
maybe you're supposed to hold up like a picture up in the film in our show or something like that.
Have you seen this?
Have you seen this man? Yeah.
Well, and
the only weird one that happened to me, but it wasn't even weird in that way. I was in a grocery store or something, and I'm farting around getting things, and I hear this voice. This guy goes like, "Hey, you," and I kind of stop and I turn around and there's this guy. He's about 6'8", and he's dressed like a biker, and he's looking at me. He's kind of scowling, and he says, "You're one of those Lone Gunmen guys, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Yeah, well, I love you guys." And he turns around and walks away.
That could have gone the other way so fast.
It could have. I had no idea. Anyway. But you guys got all the crazies, you two.
Yeah. Well,
it's our open faces.
But it's also, the show had a lot of bizarre storylines, so everybody gravitated towards that, and and you get to that stage of the convention circuit where it's like 1-on-1, you never know. I didn't think it was that bad, but then Phil, my producing partner, came to a couple conventions, and that's what started our him following me with the camera around for a year around the world doing conventions and making a documentary called The Truth Is Out There, which you can get at chillpackhollywood.com. There's video of but documentary of like all of these disparate theories and stories, and from Tesla to everything, and how it all connects together and stuff. And so I didn't think it was weird. I thought it was like, man, you do a show and then you go around the world doing conventions and people say things and sign pictures and no, that's not common at all. No.
But I always say it too. But you also you look at the proportions. You remember the eccentric ones, and then you figure for every one of those, you're getting 500 fans who are normal and lead normal lives.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
But but that 1 out of every 500 though. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And they make you t-shirts. They make you t-shirts that say, "Dude, make you like an idiot."
Absolutely. Well, Lisa, there you go. Thank you as always for joining us. And what we have next? Here's one from Maddison. Ooh, what inspired you to get into acting?
Wow.
Oh,
Bruce?
In grade 3, I was cast as the top of a totem pole in a class play, and we made cardboard or construction paper wings and pasted them to my arms because I was the Thunderbird, and I'd sit on top of this this ladder with all the other kids.
5 other students?
Yeah, with
the lightest?
three. It wasn't a tall ladder.
Oh.
And it was all about how the beaver took over from the Thunderbird and stuff. And now I know it's an appallingly racist little play that we did. But I remember thinking how
now
cool.
You know.
Yeah, now I remember at the time it was like, oh, I like this feeling. Everyone's looking at me, and I know what to say for a change because it was written down ahead of time. And then I think in grade 5, a couple of friends of me, we wrote a play about Jack the Ripper and performed it in class.
Oh,
where I played the Jack the Ripper and a policeman, double role, and to show the investigation part. This always sticks in my head. To show the investigation, we borrowed all the sharp knives from all our families and put them on a table. And one guy stood in front of it and was the local butcher. And the scene was me and this other policeman come in and go, "Look at all those knives. He's clearly the killer." And we grab him and rushed him off stage. That was
excellent theater right there.
Yeah, it was tour de force.
No, I don't need to build dramatic tension. Look at all those knives. He's the killer. Get him out of here. End the scene.
Yeah.
I bet you're the butler too.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, there you go.
I've never heard that story before. That's funny.
Wow. Totem poles and Jack the Ripper. Who can top that?
That's right. Well, I was a class clown. So after reading the Jack and Jill book, I got up. We read the final 2 pages, closed the book, and I walked over to the garbage can. I threw the book in the garbage can. Got a big laugh. Huge laugh. And then the teacher said, "Dean, they need the book next year, the next students." I'm like, "Oh," and I pulled the book out of the garbage can and sat back down. But that was like the very first laugh I ever got in front of a crowd. And that was it. I was hooked.
So it was a nascent mic drop.
It was before I even knew what mic drops were. Yeah.
Mine doesn't go back that far. It was until I was in university when I got interested in acting, and then I started seeing alternate theater, and there's a group called Tamanous Theater, and I really enjoyed their work, and so I continued to university. And then when I was finished, I joined. I was actually thinking I was going to get into film, but I really enjoyed the theater part of it, so I joined up with Tamanous and Theater and stayed with them for 7 years, and when they everyone moved on, I got into film.
Yeah,
stayed in film for a long time.
And that was.
I didn't really get back into acting at all until X-Files. When we got asked to play Frohike. That was, must have been close to 30 years before I got back into doing it. So not as interesting as chasing the
that's pretty good.
bad guy off stage.
Well, that's pretty good.
Tamanous was influential. It was a major Vancouver theater company.
Yeah.
It was a great experience. It was a good experience.
Yeah. So there you go. Maddison, great question. Thank you for that. What do we have next? Here's one from Michael. Do you guys actually believe or think there might be any credible evidence about aliens or other paranormal phenomenon?
Well, let's see. Paranormal phenomena. I think mathematically there's 11 dimensions other than the 3 that we are experiencing. So when we see ghosts or other phenomena, there is a mathematical explanation, be it electrical and or whatever other dark matter, dark energy. We not yet have the tools to collaborate or detect. I assume that then we throw that into the paranormal category because we are, as always, with our sciences, achieving forward velocity. So yes. So I believe in the paranormal phenomena. I just don't believe we have the actual science yet to know specifically what that is.
Sometime you have to go over with me what those 11 dimensions are because, well, I mean, okay, time is usually the fourth one.
But even that now, time might be a series.
Has that been denigrated to another one? Okay.
Denigrated to another one, yes. So,
okay, so it's like
mathematically, there are 11 to now 13 possible other dimensional fields that we are living within, but our meat bag can only detect 3 to 4, possibly 5 if you do a lot of yoga.
So time in the dimensional chart is like the Pluto, and is it a planet? Not a planet. Planet. Not a planet. Not a planet.
Yeah, time's a tough one because it's sequential. You can't go backwards yet. It might be a series of still photographs that our collective consciousness are pulling together and arranging in a Edison-like film that is going at however many frames per second.
And in terms of quantum mechanics, of course, time doesn't apply, and you've got the spooky action at a distance. I think it's
that's
called
right. Strange like and quark and spin, right? So all of those multidimensional phenomena that we know exist and are working with and are continually expanding our consciousness of what the universe is. Wow. Is it a bubble universe? Is it a string theory? Is it a multiple? Is it parallel? How many parallel universes? At any moment in any second, do we split into 2 different timelines that go off onto tangents? And, am I now King of Sweden in another timeline right now? And
do we all have our evil counterparts somewhere easy to spot because the goatees,
The mirror.
yeah, exactly. Although Bruce's is clean shaven.
That's right. It's the same version.
I just moved it from here to here.
That's right. So evil.
So Bruce and Tom, you got any add-ons to this?
I have no practical experience. I do believe there are probably aliens out there, but I've had no practical experience in that. But.
I tend to think that for aliens, I mean, there's probably life out on some planet or stars or something somewhere, but to make them bipedal naked creatures who just fly over here to check somebody's anus is like
that seems a long way to go for an anus check.
Exactly. Yeah. And as far as paranormal phenomenon, I think that the human brain is far more complex and than we can fully comprehend ourselves. And that therefore the way we perceive the world leads us not exactly tricks, but perceptions that we can't explain. We don't have the tools to explain, but we do have the tools to experience. So,
right.
If that makes sense.
No, yeah. So, all right. There you go, Michael. The truth is out there, but damned if we can figure it out when we find it.
Yeah. That's right. It's different for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. What's next? Here's one from Invisible Dimensions. We were just talking about you. How do you guys feel about your pilot episode actually becoming a real conspiracy theory in itself?
Wow. Yes. Well, the plane actually did fly into the World Trade Center. So that part's not the conspiracy. No. But yeah, that was weird that day. I didn't even remember that was a thing. that was our pilot episode. John Scheibman called me going, "Are you watching this?" And had to remind me going, "Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's like our pilot episode. How weird is that?" Of course, I had a leak in my faucet, so I had to go to Home Depot. And it was the nicest day ever to go to Home Depot. Everybody was so helpful on 9/11. The weirdest thing.
Yeah, I got a phone call. We were in the hotel, and I got a phone call from my driver. saying, I'm not picking you up today. We were supposed to go home on September 11th. We were supposed to fly back to Vancouver on September 11th. And the driver phones me and says, well, we're not flying you home today. And I'm like, what? Why is that? He says, well, because all flights have been grounded. I said, why would anyone do that? And he says, because somebody flew a plane in the World Trade Center. And in my head, two things. First off, it's a joke because that's our pilot. And then I thought, no, these drivers, they never know who they're picking up. They have no idea who I am. So he's not making a joke. And the next thing I thought was a Cessna, like a little plane.
Yes.
Right.
And then I put on the TV. And of course, at that point it had happened and everything was playing in a loop for 24 hours or more. Just that's all you could see on all the news channels.
Bruce, I'm with you. I thought exactly the same thing. I thought I had this scenario in my head of somebody in a little prop plane.
Yeah.
I'll fly over your phone. I'll wave at you and take a picture of me waving at you on my plane. And something went horribly awry. And
yeah.
Well,
I think it was you, Dean, that Trudy and I were like still sleeping or something. The phone rang and you said you should turn on your TV and check this. You should have a look. And you didn't say what it was, so we did. And then boy, it was just like, whoa.
Yeah. Because I
flashed to our episode. I sure flashed to our episode.
Yeah. I was flying to do a comedy club in Kansas City, and there was like, oh, you're not flying today. And then you had no idea when the planes would be back. So then the comedy club goes, well, what do you want to do? Should we keep the week open for you? Or should you cancel and we find a local comic? And I'm like, well, you should find a local comic. But from what I hear from all the comedians, that was the best 3 weeks after 9/11. The crowds were just so grateful, anybody doing jokes. So that every show you just slayed, and it was like a massive love fest. So I regret not doing stand-up, but at the same time, you had no idea.
Yeah. Speaking a bit to the conspiracy about it, what I remember fairly vividly is me and Tom and Trudy, we met for breakfast the morning of. And, people were saying on the news, it's inconceivable that this could happen. And first off, we're like, no, somebody conceived it. We made a TV show.
Yeah, right.
And then we sat together for like half an hour and we just worked out, just talking, how it could have been done. And which was basically, it turned out, what did happen. So it's not only inconceivable, or totally conceivable, I mean to say, but actually really simple to plan, at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to say about the conspiracy behind it. It's just like my decision is always go with the simplest solution.
Right.
If you think there's a conspiracy, pick the simplest. Is it a clever plan or is it just somebody being stupid and covering his ass?
Right.
More
Either
likely,
way, it was an extended war in the Middle East that, still reputations on either way, right? So so the consequences are the same, whether it was this cause or that cause, much like a pandemic. Did it start here or did it start there? Whatever. We're all sitting indoors.
Yeah, very much so. So, well, there you have it, Invisible Dimensions. I think we have time for one more. So let's try and go out on a fun one. That was a bit of a sobering question. Here's from Nora. What would your reaction be if you did meet an alien?
What do they look like? That's what I want to know.
Is it like selfie?
Right away. And are they fans?
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh God.
Can you imagine? Spaceship.
Yeah.
You're him.
Could you sign this? Yeah, right.
You are the guy.
Can you make it up?
Two guys and thinking, okay, another crazy. Look out.
Yeah. Totally. How do you spell his leaves knock?
We have come a long way. Wait a minute. You're not Frohike.
Oh my gosh.
That's happened to me in real life too. So.
Oh no.
What, an alien met you?
No, a person, but yeah. Oh, are you playing Frohike? No, I don't play Frohike. Oh, well, never mind then.
Oh. Ow. That's right.
Yeah.
So I did go to a convention and there was a woman, Cynthia Crawford, and she goes, the first thing you should know about me is I'm an alien human hybrid. I go, oh, that's nice. Yeah, what do you do? Well, she goes, many people have had experiences. And so I psychically connect with them. And then I make sculptures of the different alien species that they're either are hybrid or have they met with. And so she had Pleiadians and different. So she knew all the minutiae of the alien species that have been apparently visiting us and or crossbreeding with us for a long time now.
Is the alien her father or her mother?
You know, I forgot to ask that. Actually,
Oh,
that
okay.
would have been good too.
Hmm.
But yeah. So I have then technically met an alien.
Yeah, cool.
So, and it was nice. She was a lovely person. I would have totally let her house sit and watch my pets.
You'd have to think they'd be really like happy to get out once they get here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Depending on their interdimensional transportation technology, perhaps it was only a couple seconds sitting down.
And it's like, oh, I'm just so glad to get out for a walk. Who are you again? You know,
right? Oh, that ship is so cramped.
You're telling me this? I don't know. Aren't you afraid the government's gonna come after you any minute? You know, the black helicopters are gonna pop over you.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, we have a deal with that. So, Tom, if you ever met an alien, what would you?
Like I say, I would think these two guys probably sent them to me. You know, because it's set up.
Totally. Oh, you know who you should really talk to? You know who'd love to talk? You should see Tom Braidwood. He would love to talk to you.
We have traveled 30 million light years to ask you this. What's David Duchovny like?
yeah.
You should ask him yourself.
No, we're too shy.
Oh, it's Lee's knock. You're not shy.
Gentlemen, as always, it's been an absolute delight. Any final words for our viewers before we take our leave?
You can see my new series on renovating haunted houses called Hellacious Renovations over at myparanormalnetwork.org.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of a web series, totally fun. If you like renovation, if you like building stuff like I'm building, and you like ghosty haunted houses, this is your show.
Cool. Ghosts okay with it, or is there resistance? Or
well, that's every house is different.
Okay, all right.
Do they stay in the drywall when you throw the drywall out, or do they stay in the foundation? Like, where's the ghost actually reside?
That's always true, because I always had the theory of if we know a house is haunted, why don't we just blow it up?
Yeah, right. Or just take out all the one by one, just replace all of the things, and then you got a brand new house. Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right, that sounds like a really cool concept. Where can we see that again?
It's at My Paranormal Network.
Okay.
It's a new paranormal TV network web series channel that Ghost Adventures put together.
All right, we'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, I'll get a link to you so you can put it up.
Absolutely. And Bruce, Tom, any parting words?
Bless you for watching the show still. Yeah. My God. What is it, 25
Right.
years or something? More?
Don't even say it.
Okay.
Nice chatting to you and at you.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, absolute delight as always. Once again, thank you for joining us on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you to our audience for joining us. Thank you for your great questions. Hope to see you all again soon. And a reminder, we will be joined by David Duchovny himself on October 23rd here at GalaxyCon Live. Please check us out for that. Until then, bye-bye, everyone. Take care. And remember that smiles are free. Please spend them often.